There's a concept that we talked about 2 weeks ago, and I gave the example of Gateway Church. Gateway Church is a church off the streets in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where it doesn't look like a church at all, it looks more like a barnyard, but it's really a war room. They call themselves a Christian church. On one wall, they have a map of the United States of America. On the other wall, they have a map with 7 pillars, 7 mountains. Some of you may recall 7 mountains in the book. And they believe that on top of each mountain, an NAR, a new apostolic reformative pastor or mindset, should rule government, religion, education, culture, politics, arts, and culture. This movement started in 1975. One of the reasons we're here together today, and we're calling it a think tank, is that we have to develop the strength, the stamina, the oneness to be able to fight such a movement, because it's been going so long. Even the assault on the courts started in the 1980s. The assault on the Department of Education started just about a year after the Department of Education was formed in 1980 from 1979. So we're fighting an adversary that's prepared, and they've studied, and they've written a plan 2025. And I would caution us not to go out too fast lest we run out of energy in the middle of the ocean. We're going to have to gird down and prepare for this fight, and fight hard once we're prepared and ready. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, this Christian supremacist movement that we're calling the New Apostolic Reformation in 2022, listen to what they said. They have the God-given right to rule the United States, and they have been given legal power and authority from heaven. They consider themselves God's ambassadors and spokespeople over the earth, who are equipped and delegated by Him to destroy every attempted advance of the adversary. The example I gave a week ago in Gateway Church, they claim that for 15 years they have prayed 24 hours a day, nonstop, that their Christian movement would take over these 7 pillars of our society. And that Donald Trump is the culmination, the manifestation of their prayers. I'm only offering you how they see him as the embodiment of 15 years of 24 hours a day prayer. So they don't see him as a perfect vessel. David was not a perfect vessel. But they see him as the vessel that can create enough chaos, destroy enough of our society, and then they're able to build up these 7 pillars. They don't believe in religious pluralism. They don't believe in religious equality. They don't believe in educational equality. So what they want is a system for themselves, run by themselves. Just to make sure you understand who you're dealing with, these are the people who are giving Donald Trump and the administration the support they have to be able to do what they're doing in the government. He's not a slow-thinking man, and he's not a weak man. He's been given power in large part by our faith community. And that's why, as a faith community, we must get together and respond. But this isn't, the faith community is deeper. My father says to me, he said, Dad, he says, Yusef, I've been to a lot of funerals. And some of y'all know this. He said, you can always tell the funeral of the family who's a church-going family versus the ones who are not church-going people. Just the way they handle the sense of loss. It's just different. It's not shallow, it's deep. They understand the soul in a different way than those who look like they go to church and may dress like they go to church, but don't have that spiritual foundation of those who do go to church. It's different. And so when we're fighting and standing up for our rights, the adversary that we're standing up to is a church-going adversary. And just understand that. Their influence on Donald Trump and our administration is real. They say maybe even 40% of our church is now following this movement in name or in practice. And so that's kind of why we come together, because our faith movement has to respond. One of the things we're working on, and I'm going to ask if we come up and talk to the press after this, is we found a book. Reverend Frank Thomas is teaching a class here every 2 weeks on preaching in Hitler's shadow. Preaching in Hitler's Shadow is a book of sermons, and it talks about how the German church preached as they had an authoritarian figure continuing to dismantle their constitution. So we're trying to offer a foundation of how we respond to this so that we're not all individually in our own churches going our own separate way. That we have some tenets. They have 7 mountains. We need our tenets. They have a curriculum. They have a playbook. We need our curriculum. We need our playbook. And this is just our small way of beginning that playbook.